Okay, we're a bit bright today. I'm just going to turn down my lighting. Blessed be everyone. Welcome to Mystery Witch School YouTube live stream. How is everybody this week? Hello. I love the ZX9R. Okay, hello, Jeb. And welcome to everybody who are watching the live. Welcome to those of you. Hello, Moira. Welcome to those who are watching the replay. I do a live here pretty much at the same time every week. So if you're in the US and Canada, it is a Sunday evening or late Sunday afternoon. And if you're in Australia, it is 10 o'clock Brisbane time in the morning, so bright and early on a Monday. This week's a good week. We've got Sabbats coming up towards the end of the week, so I'll be doing a video at the end of the week on Lunasa and Imbolc. So those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, you'll be celebrating Imbolc, no doubt, and we're celebrating Lunasa here in the Southern Hemisphere where I am. So as you come on to watch the live, if you're watching the replay, still let me know any comments that you have or any questions that you have. I do go through the comments after videos are released, and I go and answer every single one of them. So if you've got any questions or anything, pop them in the comments field. If you're on the live stream, then pop them in the live stream and we will go from there. Okay, it's 7 p.m. Okay. In Canada. Okay. The theme today is energy signatures, which is really important for magic, of course, and also just for your daily happiness and joy in life and being constantly doing magic, even when you're not trying to do magic. It's actually really, really important. So we're going to talk about that today. Before we do, if you don't know who I am, I'm Sandra from Mystery Witch School, mysterywitchschool.com. I am the author of Crafting Your Wiccan Path, and there's another book I'm going to show you today as well called Tapping into Abundance, where I talk a little bit about the energy signature. I also created courses on Wicca and Witchcraft, shadow work, and tarot. All of those things are listed in the description field below this video and also on my website. I also work one-on-one with mentoring, and I also do coaching as well for the shadow work side of things. So all of that information you can find on my website and also in the description field below this video. If you want to know where to start your witchcraft practice, so you may be new to the whole thing, I have a free video. It's called How to Start Your Witchcraft Practice. You'll find a link to that in the description field below this video as well as also on my website. Plus, because this is sort of talking about energy and your vibe, it's also going to incorporate the shadow work side of things too, because that's really important for your energy signature. So if you are perhaps more, you're not new to witchcraft and you're looking for something to go a bit deeper into your own work with yourself and your own energy and the shadow work side of things, there's a free video called How to Heal Your Shadow Through Balancing Your Energy Centers. And there's a link to that in the description field below this video as well. So that's for people who really were looking for a deeper dive into what is the shadow work thing, what does that got to do with the chakras, and how do you put them together? So that's all of that out of the way. I'll talk more about both of those things at the end of this video. So ways that you can go a lot deeper with both the Wicca and Witchcraft work and energy work there, and also with the shadow work as well. Okay, hello, Vincent. We've got a few Canadians here. Awesome. Okay, so on this channel also, if you're new, I must say, I teach all things Wicca and witchcraft. I'm very eclectic when it comes to Wicca and witchcraft. I teach a high vibe type of witchcraft. So it is about raising your vibration, bringing in more joy, bringing in more happiness, and more of a sense of connection to yourself and to spirit and to nature through the craft. So it's for very soulful, high vibe witches and pagans who do want to connect to your spiritual roots. If you want to reach your full potential, like really let yourself go and be who you know yourself to be, and consciously create a life full of joy and peace and magic without the confusion, and of course that self-doubt getting in the way. There's a lot of construction work going on across the road from me, so for the next few months you may hear weird sounds in the background. That's just construction work. Okay. I'm even going to have to bring in my regular videos into this space as well to do, because it's just too noisy out there where I normally do them. Okay, so let's get into the topic. Hello, Grant. You made it on time. Awesome. Okay. And Shane's in the UK as well. Great. UK, you must be up late. It must be very late in the evening there. Could be 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that. I'm not sure. It's very late in the UK. Anyway, so energy signatures. What is an energy signature? I talk a little bit about energy signatures in Tapping into Abundance. So this is actually my first book. It's not a book on witchcraft and Wicca. It's actually more of a shadow work type book. So it's about looking more at where you're stopping yourself from reaching your full potential and being the real you, the you that you know yourself to be. And if anybody's actually got the book, because I know a lot of people have, on I think it's page 52, I talk about your unique energy signature and what that is exactly. So we know that atoms, which everything is made up of, are 99.9% energy. So we're 99.9% energy. We are vibrating. Everything is vibrating. And that's that connection to magic. That's one of the reasons magic works, because it works on vibration. So we know that we're 99.9% energy. So that means that our unique energy signature is this electromagnetic charge. Okay? And we radiate that out into the world, out to the universe, to everything and everyone around us. And the interesting thing about the atom thing is that when they vibrate, they come together and influence each other. Okay? And you'll find that when two things vibrate at the same frequency together, anyone who plays a stringed instrument will know this, that if you're tuning, say you're tuning a violin, right? And you've tuned it perfectly to the A, then you've got a violin next to you and it's perfectly tuned to the A as well. The A on the violin that you aren't touching is actually resonating and vibrating to the A that you're tuning once you get both of them totally in tune with each other. And that is because the atoms are vibrating at the same pace. It's like they're sharing their vibration. Okay. So whenever you're doing magic, whenever you're anywhere, you're vibrating at a certain frequency and you're sharing that with what is around you. And that's what makes you so. That's what our power is. That's part of our power. So when people talk about, I want witch powers, they're powers we all have. They're not, special to witches. I mean, anybody can learn to do this stuff. It's that vibration that we're giving off, and our vibration is incredibly influenced by our emotions. Our emotional state influences our vibration, and our thoughts and our beliefs and our perception influence our emotions. So that's why we do shadow work. It's so we can get our thoughts in order that are helpful to us, so that we can feel good most of the time. Obviously, life happens and we don't always feel good, but we are stronger and better able to regulate our emotions because we're better at regulating our thoughts. And that's what makes you a person a powerful witch or a powerful magician, is that you can regulate your thoughts and your emotions. That is where the real power is. It's in self-regulation. And that self-regulation comes from learning about yourself, who you are, diving into the shadow work, diving into the things that you've been told aren't good about yourself, that are bad about yourself, or this, that, and the other, and going in and finding the gifts in everything and integrating those aspects into your sense of self in a way that is positive for you and helpful to you. It's a positive way of integrating, getting rid of the guilt and the shame over ways that maybe you've expressed things in the past. When our shadow isn't integrated, it comes out in very ugly, harmful ways. And that's what causes all the problem. When we integrate it and understand it and get the strengths from it and the gifts from it, when it is the seed of our power, it can come through and empower us in very positive, benefic ways. So that's why we do this alchemy called shadow work. And in both the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy, which is my 12-month course on Wicca and Witchcraft, we touch on shadow work, we touch on energy work. So you do improve your energy signature month by month doing the work. The shadow work course that I have is where you're really taking that deep dive into finding the real stuff that's stopping your energy from really vibrating the one way you want it to vibrate. So when you're doing a spell, for example, you're doing magical work, and we talk about magic, how we might use herbs, uh, colors or candles. Those colors are vibrating at a certain frequency. The herbs are vibrating at a certain frequency. And that vibration is the vibration that we're wanting to vibrate at to get what it is that we want to get. Okay, thank you so much for that. Thank you, Shane. Yes, by the way, there's super chat and super thanks there for those of you who are I love foxes too. For those of you who also want to help uh, the channel, be here. So you're vibrating. You're using those tools, the colors and the herbs, to help you actually raise your vibration, so that you can really feel into the wish fulfilled, and so that you're vibrating, your energy is vibrating in that feeling state of already having what it is that you're doing the spell work for. So, for example, if you're doing a spell for, I know some people do spells for all sorts of things, but I'm trying to think of something that's not a typical example that I always use. If you're doing a spell to, say, you want to pass an exam or a test or something, you want to feel into how it feels to pass a test. How do you feel when you've got the results and you know you've done really, really, really well? What does that feel like? You know, there might be a sense of relief, obviously. There might also be a sense of accomplishment there, a sense of pride in what you've done. So you get into that feeling state. And then you may select herbs of success and colors of success. So you might go for oranges for success, for example. You may also go for yellows because they help with focus and memory. And so you might also want to work with some rosemary, for example, because it's going to help with memory, which is going to help you with passing a test. And also energy, the rosemary energy is very, very clearing and very, very protective as well. So you're tuning into all of these vibrations, all of these atomic things such as herbs and colors that are vibrating at certain frequency that are helping you also resonate with that frequency. And that can then help you do what it is that you need to do action wise to pass that test, but also it gives you that magical edge to pass that test too. And it's very interesting to see what happens when you do a spell for something like that, particularly if you do the spell ahead, a few days ahead of the actual test, for example, or exam, because it may also inspire you to use different methods of study as well. So that's an example of how you'd use it in magic. Again, if you're using a spell to get some physical item, say you're buying a house, you want to buy a house, so you do magic for finding the house. Maybe you could do magic also for selling a house if you're selling and buying. I mean, I've done that before too. You work with the tools that are in that vibration of success, that vibration of money as well. So you probably would want to work with money herbs too if you're looking at buying and selling a house, because it involves money. A lot of herbs cross over and you've got multi-purpose, so the vibrations can be tweaked according to your intention. But this is where your vibration and the whole energy signature thing comes into your magic. You're wanting to change your energy signature and vibrate to the same frequency as the thing that you want. Okay, you're letting the universe know through your vibration that this is where you're vibrating at, so that you're a vibrational match to what it is that you're wanting. And this is why it's so important as witches and magicians to have self-regulation, to be able to know thyself, to know who we are, what we are, that we are magical beings, that we have the ability to create our own reality in this, what a lot of people are talking about these days as being like a simulation. And you can think of it as like a simulation. Doesn't mean it is a simulation, it's just it's very similar to one, a little bit like a hologram, for example. And that what we're doing within ourselves, what we're thinking, what we're believing, what we're perceiving is creating our reality. So if we want to change our reality, we have to change ourselves and how we're thinking and how we're perceiving, so that we can then do that work and change our reality from the inside out. And that's where the power is. So if anybody who wants magical powers or witch powers, the powers are within us, each and every one of us. So that's the way your energy signature is going to help you in your magical work. It's vibrating to that same frequency emotionally as the person that you'd be vibrating at, that frequency you'd be vibrating at once you've achieved your results. So you're being that vibration, that energy signature, you're matching it to what the energy signature of the successful you is. Okay. Hi, Pixie Dragon. Grand Rising. Awesome. Vincent. Appetite crystal radiates a refreshing and clear energy and strengthens the self-confidence as well as promotes creativity. Yes, it's such a beautiful, beautiful crystal. Absolutely love apatite. The blue, greeny blue. It's absolutely beautiful. I find that growing your own herbs significantly impacts your relationship with those herbs. Oh, yes, absolutely. Because again, you're kind of having a relationship with them the same way you would a pet or a person that you live with. You're interacting with them every day, and you're sharing that vibration atomically with those plants. So there's going to be a kind of a bit of a relationship there. Even though plants don't have a nervous system like we do, and they don't speak or make noise like maybe animals do, we tend to think that plants don't have a consciousness or that plants don't feel. But we know from a lot of studies that have been done on plants that they communicate with each other through their root system. They release chemicals to avoid being eaten and attacked by worms. So there's something going on there. They're reacting. They are reacting. And if you've ever worked with plant medicine or you do a lot of green witchery, you know that plants have a consciousness and you can communicate to them. They can communicate back telepathically, and you can have a relationship with plants just the same as you would with a pet. Okay, hey, I just noticed the color changing candles on the shelves. Yes, they're color changing candles there. They are. They are indeed. So that's how you can use your energy signature in your magical work. I'm just going to look at what else I wrote. I wrote this book, Tapping into Abundance, back in 2016, and it was supposed to end up being a course, but it ended up turning into a book. So one of the suggestions that I have here is there's two experiments that you can do to just observe your energy signature and how that can affect people around you and situations around you. So one is if you're in a really upbeat mood, so you're really happy, really joyous mood, right? And you're out and about you may find that you're going to resonate probably better with people who are also resonating that joyous energy, and that when you're uplifted and joyous, that you're more likely going to meet or interact with those joyous, uplifting people as well, because you're kind of attracted to them because you've got that same vibration. If you notice at any time when you're feeling down, or if you're feeling fearful, or you're sort of find that you're going into more of a negative way of thinking and being, which happens because life happens, what sort of people do you attract when you're in that mode, for example? And just observe uh, what the differences are between what you're experiencing in your life when you're feeling a bit down, and so you're on a different frequency, to what you experience when you're on a high vibe sort of frequency, and just compare and see how things change. And then as a witch, as a magician, you can change your frequency. If you find yourself in an environment, for example, where or you an environment that you know you've got to go into, say it's a work environment, for example, or a busy shopping center or shopping mall, and you just know that it's not necessarily going to be, or you've got to go into a neighborhood that might be of a lower vibration. If you work on your vibration before you go into those situations, and then when you're there, raise your vibration, be very, very aware, and project that energy out into that environment, you may be surprised at how that changes the environment around you. As an example, a couple of weeks ago, I had to go to I was at the hospital, right? And I had an appointment, and the girl on the desk was very grumpy. She was having a very, very bad day. It was first thing in the morning, about 9 o'clock in the morning. And the two people that she was serving, they just didn't really know what was going on. They were um, confused about things. Anyway, she was being quite rude to them. Like, you could tell that she'd just had enough. Something was going on anyway, that she just had enough. And my first reaction was to also be annoyed, because she was in that vibe, and that kind of energy was actually quite strong. So I thought, okay, what can I do? How can I change this energy? So I just opened up the heart chakra, worked on heart energy, and sent that energy to her. So I sent this rosy pink energy to her, which of this sort of love energy, and focused on bringing in the energy of rose quartz crystal energy. And so by the time when I got to her, I actually got a smile out of her. She was really, really lovely to me. And at the end, when I thanked her, she goes, "Oh, my pleasure," and had this smile on her face. And it was quite amazing, the transformation between being the grumpy person that she was for the couple of people ahead of me, because I think there were about two or three people ahead. And then by the time she got to me, her energy had changed. So there are examples of how you can brighten up somebody's day and make them feel better, simply by being able to vibrate a strong, positive, joyous, loving energy. And that energy, because it's a high vibe energy, is going to raise the vibe. The vibe's going to raise when you do that. It's like it's actually a stronger energy to raise a vibration, rather than to bring it down. You can help raise people up by doing that kind of thing. So that's just an example. Okay, where can I find your book? I have links in the description field below this video to this book, and you'll also find it on my website, mysterywitchschool.com. Just go to the books tab, and you'll see both of my books there. But they're also, everything is in the description field. And I'm going fuzzy here. Must be an internet thing. Okay, I'm a little fuzzy. I can see. My internet might have slowed down. Okay. I'll just turn the light up. It might help. No? Okay. Sorry about the fuzzy video. It looks like my internet slowed down. Okay, you're vibrating at a high frequency. Okay. So that was an example of what you can do in your everyday life. So how can you vibrate? How can you raise your energy? Meditating every day is essential for being able to fuzzy frequency. Yeah. Uh changing the internet frequency. Meditating every day is a wonderful way to be able to raise your vibe because it can help you focus more in, get you more connected with yourself. If you're doing a daily practice every day where you're incorporating some meditation and maybe you're connecting also to the deities, if you like working with specific deities, connecting with them, um, you could that making that space for yourself every day to work on your space, your joy, your frequency every day is going to make a difference to your life in a really, really short space of time, having that daily practice. And during your daily practice, during your meditation, after you've done a lot of calming down and everything, you may find that if you do some intention work every day, so you're imagining yourself in your perfect world as the perfect you, like you imagine yourself as the confident you, for example, if you do struggle with self doubt. If you're in a work environment you don't like and you'd rather be in a work environment you do like, or you want to have your own business, or you want to be doing something different, if you focus on doing that every day, and if you particularly if you're doing it in the morning and then also first thing at night before you go to bed, you're practicing being that you're practicing being in that vibration. So doing magic every day, really simple magic every day as part of your meditation, is a way of also raising your vibration. And even if you're struggling with doing something you really want to do, but maybe you feel you're not good enough or that it can't happen to you for whatever reason, whatever the beliefs are, if you can get through the discomfort of imagining yourself as that confident person, as the person that has and does those things, even if it feels uncomfortable at first to do that, and it may feel uncomfortable to imagine yourself more confident or imagine yourself in that situation that you'd like to be in, because there may be a lot of negativity going on in the brain telling you you can't do it, it's not good enough, what's so and so going to say, yeah, it's going to make you selfish, it means you're greedy, whatever the talk is. Um, Still do it anyway. You'll find that over time, after about 21 to 30 days of doing that on a regular basis, you're going to start to feel different, and you're going to start to notice that you're behaving different and that things are changing around you, because what that does is it changes your energy signature, because you're changing your concept of self, your perception of self, and your beliefs are then about yourself, which is going to change the way you feel. Okay, the way we feel is caused by our thinking and the way that what we believe, and what we believe creates how we perceive things. It's not other people, it's ourselves. So when we're reacting to a situation, our feelings are something that we have 100% control over. We can regulate and control how we feel. Even if we're feeling terrible in reaction to something, there's still the feelings that we have that we're choosing to have. And so we have the ability to take ownership of all of that, which gives us tremendous power over ourselves and over everything that's happening to us as well. It's a powerful thing not to be able to be manipulated by other people or circumstances around you emotionally. That's where the empowerment is. The whole When we look at history, we look at the persecutions of magic and witchcraft, how all of this stuff had to go underground. It's because it's very empowering knowledge. It's knowledge that empowers us. And for thousands of years, We've had, you know, uh, governments, organizations, royalty, whatever the power people were, that elite people who controlled the masses through their wealth and through their political power, whether it was, you know, monarchies or politics or emperors or all of that sort of stuff. And you can go back, you know, thousands and thousands of years. It's always a case of disempowering the people so that they can maintain their power. And a lot of what we see today in our current times is that we're being disempowered more and more and more and more because we're being encouraged more and more and more and more to be blaming outside forces, other people for how we feel. And we see this being even, you know, infiltrated into the witchcraft and magical communities where there's a lot more uh, harmful witchcraft being promoted out there. There's a lot more going on in regards to, you know, the darker magic and all of that being, you know, promoted as an option for, you know, feeling bad because somebody, you know, stole your boyfriend or your girlfriend or something like that. And so that's, you know, because you feel bad, therefore you have a right to then go and curse that person that stole your boyfriend or stole your girlfriend. And it's like, that is not empowering. It is not empowering. The empowering part of you is to, yes, feel the resentment, feel the anger, feel the hurt, and then realize that, well, if that person was that easily stolen, then they probably weren't the right person for you anyway, and you can do better somewhere else. Okay? It's about you knowing that you can do better somewhere else because obviously that person wasn't the right person for you. And you can go find somebody better who isn't going to do that in the future. That is where the empowerment is. It's not in I'm going to hex that person because you're still sitting in that victim mentality, you're still sitting in the resentment, still sitting in that I want that person back, and you're sitting in misery. And you're going to stay vibrating at that frequency of misery, and it's just going to keep happening over and over and over again. Whereas if you can change that mindset and see the empowered you moves on from that sort of a situation. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean you can't defend yourself with magic. Obviously, there are times you do have to protect yourself with magic, and sometimes pretty strongly, right? But they're probably rare occasions in comparison to the way people go about doing all the cursing and hexing over things they really don't need to be doing it over, because the empowered thing to do is actually walk away and create what you really do want to create somewhere else. And this is what empowerment is, and this is what being in a higher vibration is. Um, but we see this in the world around us today, that we're being more and more encouraged to be victims rather than to be empowered people. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there that make a lot of money from doing that, like, you know, lawyers and solicitors and people who, you know, want you to sue everybody left, right, and center. They're making a lot of money out of it. But, you know, there are other ways that you can go about life without always having to look for being the victim in things. There are times when you may be very well a victim, and I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but I think a lot of the time we're putting ourselves in the position of victim when that doesn't actually need to be the case. Okay, those extreme circumstances where you may really be a victim are there, but then we're victimizing ourselves more than we need to, if that makes sense. Okay, where are we? Still working on building foundation. Awesome. Foundation is really important. Colors do matter. Yes. You just got to let go. It's, yeah, way out of control. People here in the States are so beat down, they've forgotten that they have the power to fix everything that troubles them. It's a serious bummer. It is. Um, Biomomics. Look, I think all of the whole of the governments are doing terrible things at the moment. I mean, it's again, we're not in any a different situation to how we were in the past. Nothing's changed. We haven't evolved, and the mistakes of the past will be repeated again. And that seems to be how it is. because the masses allow themselves to be led by these small, powerful, incredibly wealthy elite who are the ones pulling the strings, particularly at the moment, uh, for sure. And they've just recently all jet setted over to Davos recently to talk about how bad the climate is and climate change and everything, and yet they're all hiring their private jets and yeah. And when we can't drink coffee anymore, and we have to reduce our coffee because too much CO2, and we can't have our own gardens, and because of CO2, yet they're in their jets. Traveling about the place. So yeah, that's something we've always had a problem with, and these are the people that want to disempower everybody by making us victims. So we have to stop this. We have to stop this. And as magical folk, we know what it's like to be victimized in the past, and we have to stand in our power and be able to know that we're the ones with the power. And the energy signature, if we can get our energy signature vibrating in a high vibe most of the time, obviously we're not always going to be able to do that because stuff happens and things happen that cause you to crash, that cause you to grieve, that cause loss, that cause all of this stuff. And that's a reality of life. But for most of the time, when we're not in those situations, we can raise our vibe and be focused on doing that. And the more we raise our vibe, the more we're influencing the vibe around us, the neighborhood around us, the workplace, the supermarket, a receptionist. We can do that. And that's where the real witch power is. And that's why our energy signature is so important and our frequency is so important. Okay, green. Equalizing, equalizeness, calm, earth consciousness, restfulness, cognition, renewal, freedom, peace, fertility, balance, generosity, harmony, healing, hope, intuition. Wow, yeah. Green, the color of the trees, the color of abundance is green. Green is the color that we work with in candle magic for money still, even though a lot of money these days is more cyber money. It's not paper, physical money. And a lot of people are saying, well, now we should perhaps work with, the more air realms when it comes to money. But money is still our sustenance. So it still has that earth quality of food that we eat and dwellings that we live in and that abundant energy that we relate to so much. The earthy herbs, the smell of the earthy herbs. Patchouli is one of the very, very popular herb used in money magic because it's got such an earthy smell to it. It's very woody, and so it can give you that feeling of the abundance of the earth, the fertility of the earth. So we've got grey here as well, elegance, renewal, neutrality. Yeah, grey is very, very much of a neutral kind of color, and I haven't used grey much, actually. The only time I've used grey has been in Mercury retrograde cancellation spells. So spells that kind of weaken the energy of Mercury retrograde. So good, we've got all the colors coming through here. Awesome. So they vibrate, color vibrates. If you see color, you probably find that it influences your mood. As in color psychology. That's why we have orange for optimism and confidence, because it's an uplifting, confident color, but it's also a joyous color too, because it's got the yellow in it. And yellow can bring clarity, mental clarity, joy, and confidence too, but it's more of a mental sort of confidence. Blue has a peaceful aspect to it, and a light blue has a very healing aspect to it. We can feel peaceful, we can feel that energy with a light blue. Some colors can actually do the opposite. Some colors can actually make us feel really crappy as well. And I've noticed the color scheme over the last few years, the popular color scheme on buildings and houses is gray, dark colors of gray, very, very neutral kind of colors there or lack thereof, really, of color, which is interesting because that in itself is a bit of a statement to where people are creatively en masse at the moment. And it's interesting to look at that vibration of how people are using the gray colors, um, particularly the darker gray colors. Okay, awesome. So there's two ways that I love to work with people. Well, there's actually three ways. I work with people one-on-one for coaching, particularly for mindset work and changing the thoughts and beliefs and perceptions about yourself and the world around you that is causing the emotional and of course then influencing what you're creating around you. So if you want to do any one-on-one coaching with me around the shadow work side of things, there's a link in the description field below for how you can book a free half-hour clarity session with me. And that's just so that we can have a bit of a chat to see where you're at and what it is that you may need help with, and then we can go from there. Also, I have the Mystery Witch School 101 course, which is kind of the signature course. It's a 12-month course that covers pretty much a bit of everything in the craft. So it's great if you're new to the craft or you're new to Wicca and witchcraft, or you're just looking for some structure. So even if you've been involved in the craft for quite some time, but you find that you're just not getting anywhere with it because you're not knowing how to actually really build on the skills. It's just getting a bit too confusing, or it's just not going anywhere. Mystery Witch School 101 Academy is great for that too, because it starts you right at the very beginning with energy work, with grounding, setting up that firm foundation, starting to tune into meditation and listening to yourself, working then further on month by month on developing those skills more and more each month, and also introducing working with deities, introducing working with the tools, the main tools, particularly the wand, the athame, the cup, and which one did I leave out? Pentacle. And moving on to creating a Wiccan style circle, working on magic, working on the Sabbats, connecting to various different deities. So that whole thing, it's just building step by step by step by step. And what you find through that is you start to connect to yourself. You start to tune in more to your thinking and your thoughts, and what vibration you're giving off here, and how you can change that through doing that energy work, because the energy work can bring you in more energy if you're feeling a bit bleh, and it can also show you how you take the energy in from the universe, raw energy from the universe, and then you can transform that energy into whatever sort of energy you want, whether that is to put into a space or whether that's to put that energy into a talisman. You're still working with that energy signature and you're working with the vibration. So whenever you're doing magic with a talisman, for example, and you might be radiating energy from the palm of your hand into something to charge it up, for example, you're charging it up with whatever your vibration is at that time. So you tune yourself into the emotional vibration you want to be in through your thoughts and your imagination, and then that then gets transformed into influencing the object that you're working with. So for example, if it's a talisman, it would be then changing the frequency and the vibration, tweaking it to that intent. So that's how you would work with a talisman with your energy signature. So that's all in Mystery Witch School 101. If you're more advanced with witchcraft and you're looking at doing a bit more work on yourself with the shadow work, you've got to a point where you feel I need to go deeper within myself to really be able to really achieve what I'm wanting to achieve with this, then there's a course called the Wheels of Empowerment. It is my chakra course, so that each chakra level you're working on beliefs that influence that chakra and can keep the energy blocked at that chakra. So there's a link to that in the description field below this video. There's also a link to the Mystery Witch School 101 in the description field below this video as well. Okay, it can be hard to keep the vibe up when the world keeps confronting us with negativity. Oh yeah. E.g., the woman that works in the hospital must be bombarded with negativity, fear, frustration, that every day. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if anybody does work with the general public, and I've worked with the general public, many times, even in call centers. And call centers are probably the worst because they can't see you. They tend to be a little bit more rude and sometimes quite aggressive. It is. Those sorts of jobs really, they can really, really bring you down. And that's where you've really got to do that work on yourself. If you are in a job like that, you've got to do the work on yourself so that you're not bringing that to work with you, and that you can transform then the people that come into that space through your energy, through your smile, through your upbeat. Even if somebody grumpy comes in, a grumpy customer comes in, you can transform that grumpy person into maybe not so grumpy, or even into a totally transformed person by the end of the interaction, when you know how to use your energy. Okay. And you know how to bring the vibe up and lift that person to your vibration. Okay. Don't go down to theirs. Bring them up. That's what being a magician or being a witch is about. It's about that, and being empowered and being able to influence people and situations around you. And you can do that for better or for worse. It's good if we can do it for better, because it's raising the joy for a lot of people. And I don't have anything against helping people with magic. I know there's this sort of more politically correct thing where you shouldn't do any magic for anybody unless they ask you to, whether that's healing magic or positive magic. That's a matter for yourself. If that's something that you really believe in, that's fine. Personally, I don't believe in that. I think that we can make the world a better place when we can raise the vibration, because it makes it a better place for everybody if we can do that. And I think most people, when they're feeling down or if they're unwell, appreciate feeling better. I know I certainly would appreciate somebody doing that for me without asking me. So that's something that I don't necessarily go in for. But you'll find that in witchcraft, in magic, in the pagan community, there's a lot of conflicting beliefs about what you should do and what you shouldn't do, what you should believe, what you shouldn't believe. And that's going to be something that you have to navigate. And that's where you have to start critical thinking for yourself. And yeah, really thinking for yourself and deciding what's your path, what's your beliefs, and how are you going to navigate your way around this terrain? Because there is a lot of diversity of beliefs out there, and that's not a bad thing. It's good to have diversity of beliefs, because you can have good conversations and debates and learn more things. But find that you have the ability to critically think for yourself, and that you don't necessarily have to do whatever the trend is at the time. You go with what you really believe is true for you, even if it conflicts with a group of people's beliefs or something like that. That's what being a witch is all about. It's kind of like taking your own path, in a way. The same with being a magician as well. Okay, everyone, thank you very much for joining me today. And we'll see you next week. I will be doing a video this week on Imbolc and Lunasa. I'll do both on the same video because we've got two hemispheres celebrating both of them. So I'll do a video about that. And we'll see you next week at the same time. Have a wonderful week, and keep your vibe really high. Blessed be.